We've seen what's available. Now it's time to get your off-grid library up and running. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Hey, welcome back guys. Jason, KM4ACK. In a recent video, we took a look at my off-grid library that I've been building. That library contains everything from reference material like owner's manuals for every single one of my ham radios. It also included other things that was good reference material and a full copy of Wikipedia that's downloaded for offline use and stored on a local hard drive. Well, that last video kind of showed you what the potential is. Today, we're going to take a look at how we get the applications installed so that you can build your own off-grid library and serve it over any wireless network, even when you don't have internet. Okay, so a quick recap before we dive into exactly what we need to install, and we're going to break this up into two different sections. The first section that you're looking at here is just a brief directory listing for my ham radio reference directory that is located on my hard drive. So as you can see here, we've got all of these different documents. Now this is the easier of the two, but the other one is still not hard. But once you've got this loaded up, now you can go and click on anything like user manuals right here, and that would give you all of the user manuals that I've got downloaded for various radios available to me offline and served up over a local network connection. Other things that I keep in here are things like radio images, and these are different radio images that image files that I use with Chirp programming different radios. So the main one here is my master list, and you can see that I created that in March of 2017. So that one's been floating around for quite a while, but I always like to have these available to me offline. So let's take a look at exactly how you set this up, and this one is super easy. It takes one command, you don't have to install anything, and you can get this up and running. Okay, so this first one uses Python 3, a quick command in it to get this web server up and running. You probably already have Python 3 installed on your system. So the only thing I need to do is navigate to the directory that I want to serve to the web server. So in my case, that is documents, reference, and ham radio. We'll go ahead and move into that directory, and then we're going to simply type this command here. It's Python 3 space -m space http.server space, and you've got to give it a port number. Now, it really doesn't matter what port number you choose right here. I like to use 7000. The main thing is you don't want to choose a port that's going to interfere with something else. So if you're running ham clock maybe on this particular system, that's going to use port 8080. Pat WinLink also uses port 8080. So you don't, if you're running either one of those two systems, you don't want to choose a port that's already in use by another application. So I just chose to use 7000 here. But if we run this command, you'll see that it has started serving the HTTP on 0.0.0.0, which means it's available to every system that's on the same network, and as long as they use that :7000 for the port number. Now look right over here to the right and you'll see my IP address. So if I was on another computer on this network, I could just type in this IP address right here, 192.168.141:7000, and I would be given the web page. Since I'm using the browser on the system that we're currently running, I'm going to use 127.0.0.1:7000. And just for those guys that may not know, 127.0.0.1 is a loopback address that basically tells the system you're looking for your machine, your current machine. So if we pull up a web browser and we just put in 127.0.0.1:7000, we go ahead and press return, and that will serve this directory, whichever directory you started the server in. So that's a way to just take any directory on your current hard drive and share that out over a network with that one simple command, Python 3 space -m space http.server space and the port number that you want to use. Now let's take a look at the other one that I showed you guys in the previous video. This is Kiwix, and there's a lot of information that you can download from the Kiwix server so that you can get this information on your hard drive. So you can see I've got a lot of documents like Python documents, Bash documents. Those are all referenced so that if I'm coding and I'm not near the internet, I've still got those reference documents available to me. I've got the YAD guide, which is another programming guide, but I've also got things like APRS.org, how APRS works, and the entire Yak help file right here. This one though right here is all of Wikipedia downloaded so that I've got it available to me for offline use. So let me show you guys how to get this one up and running. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is download Kiwix tools. Now this is available for a lot of different operating systems, so you're going to have to figure out exactly which one you need. Today I'm running Linux Mint 22, so I'm going to start scrolling down until I find the x86 section, and I'm going to look for the very latest one, and you can see that it's right here, Kiwix Tools, Linux, x86 64-3.8.2, and that is current as of the date of this recording, which is April 2nd, 2026. If you're watching this at a later date, make sure you download the latest version as of that time. So let's go ahead and click on that and get it downloaded. Once that file is downloaded, go ahead and move into your downloads directory. I'm going to right click on that we just downloaded, and I'm going to tell it to extract here. That's going to give you a new directory, Kiwix Tools, Linux x86 64 3.8.2. Let's go ahead and click into that. And the main one we're looking for is this Kiwix-serve. Let's go ahead and right click on that and let's say Properties. Let's move over to the Permissions tab and verify that Allow Executing File as a Program is checked. If not, be sure to put a check right there beside that. And that's it. You've really got this installed. Now, if you don't want this to live in your downloads directory, you could move this to another directory on your hard drive. But for today's demo, I'm just going to let it live in my downloads directory. All right, so let's go ahead and open the terminal window. When you get there, I'm going to move to my downloads directory with cd space downloads. We'll run the ls command to list out the contents of that directory, and you'll see that we've got this directory right here. We need to go ahead and move into that directory. We'll do that with cd space kiw, and then I'm just going to press the tab key to auto-complete that. Let's go ahead and press enter, and then let's run the ls command again, and you'll see that we have that Kiwix-serve file that we need. That's our executable that we're going to run to start this server. Now I'm going to make that terminal window just a little bit bigger, and hopefully this doesn't run off the screen. I've got the font blown up so it's easier for you guys to read while you're watching the video. All we're going to do is do /Kiwix-serve. We're going to give it a -- port space, and we want to give it a port number. Now, since we used 7000 for that last server, I'm going to use 7001. And then we need to give it a directory where our Zim files are located. Now, I didn't show you guys that, so let me go back to another terminal window, and I'm just going to go back to my downloads directory, and you'll see that I've got a reference.zim right here already downloaded. Let's see if we can get that one to serve up for us. And I don't even remember exactly what's in that directory, or what's in that Zim file, but we will find out together. So I've got the -- port space 7000. Now I'm going to give it the directory location. So that is my home /downloads. We'll finish that up with a trailing / and then go ahead and press return. And I see I get an error that it's unable to add the Zim files to the internal library. So let's try that again. And after that trailing /, let's put star.zim. Now let's see if that will work. And there we go. The Kiwix server is up and running. Now you'll see that it gives us 2 IP addresses where we can get to this data. It gives us this one right here, which is your normal IP4 address, and then it also gives us an IP6 address. This one is usually the easier one to hand out to folks as long as you're still running IP4 architecture. I'm going to go ahead and copy that, and let's open up the web browser again. We'll give it a new tab, and we'll paste in that address that we just copied, which is at 192.168.1.149:7001. Let's go ahead and hit return on there, and you'll see that we get that reference library available to us. So if I click into that, this is all of the information that I had in that directory. And this was a zip file that I created when I was testing some stuff, but it gives me all of these cheat sheets available to me offline. Now, just like before, if you're actually on the machine that has the server running, you don't have to use this IP address right here. You could use 127.0.0.1:7001 and get the same thing. Let's take a look at that real quick. So I've just typed in 127.0.0.1:7001. Let's go ahead and press return, and you'll see that we get the exact same thing because we're on the same system that has the server. However, if you were trying to give this to somebody else that is also on your network, they would need to use the IP address of your machine. And that should arm you with enough information to get your off-grid library up and running. If you found today's information educational, be sure to give us a thumbs up before you head off. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then, 7-3.